Just let me check that that recording is happening. It is recording. We're great. They are not muted right now.
Can we put it down a bit? So
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
where's our... All right, let's get started.
And Gail, did you need to ask a question?
Yes. Can you hear me,
Yes.
Jane? Yes.
What would you like to?
I haven't brought an amp to Canberra, so I'll be no amp today, but I'll be with you next week. So I'll just muddle along today, okay?
Okay, and we'll
Thanks,
see if we can hear you. And I'm sorry about the no amp thing. I was a bit, confusing. Thanks, Gail.
We'll get started. There'll be a little bit of talking first up because we'll be saying hello. So we'll start with people online. I don't know. You guys can just have a quick look around the room. And John, could you hold up the laptop, please? So these are the people online. We've got Gail Walsh here, who's from here, but she can't come this week. She's in a band with Trish. We've got a couple of Mark Jacksons. We've got Ruth Allen from Port Macquarie. Just give it a big wave, Ruth. Do that, sort of thing. And then Mike Opie, who's part of Ruth's group. He's from Lake Catawa. And then we've got Anne Wilson from Nowra. And fix a big blah, 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 yeah. And then we've got Steph Payne from Werribee, lockdown in Victoria.
Hello!
Did they make it to... You're unmuted, Steph, which is okay at the moment.
I'm just unmuted to say hi.
Yes, oh good, okay, lovely, thank you. Well, we could hear you. I'm just going to run around everybody as well. We've got Martin Davis, Neville Card, Neville Card, Sam Wright, Chris Fox, Bruce Ned, Beck Regala, Michael Willis, Chris Lindridge, Phil LeBlanc, we haven't seen in a long time. You never would have you sort of stuff, were you? Yeah. And you do over at Salford. Is Hub still going? Yeah, that's awesome. And Norm and Elaine still going? Norm, yes, Norm and Elaine. I've heard about Elaine. Yeah, thank you. We've got Craig. Craig plays bass on Sunday mornings with John. Chris Robinson, who basically sort of runs the Maitland. Ray Dean, who's from up at the Bay, and I've never seen him on a bass yet. Is that Sam's? Or is that yours?
No, well, that's it.
Oh, well, bad luck.
That's mine, no.
And we got Ken Lambert from down the road from us. You all know the bass expert John Wallace and the Jane expert. Well, I'm the Jane expert, and the Mark expert, which is me. So now is the time to not play, please. So shut up, Chris. Thank you. And we are this is new for us. This is brand new, so we're excited and we're a bit nervous. Particularly partly because we're trying to combine the online stuff as well. But thanks, Ken. I hope you're not on call. Maybe. More and more people have been interested in the bass right from the beginning within the ukulele community. And when I first saw a bass played, a U-bass, I went, what's that? And it was at the Melbourne Ukulele Festival in 2010, and the bass player was strumming it. And I went, and I also heard people say, hey, maybe I should switch to the bass because you only play one string at a time. And all of these are great examples of bad form, basically, of musical ignorance. The bass is, you need everybody here, we are assuming, has the basics of the bass. And we've been recommending Danielle Scott's course. So you know what a 1 is and what a 5 is, and we will, don't look guilty, Ray, like that. You look guilty. So we will find out in the first song how you guys are going because we'll be watching. at the base, so we want you to have the fundamentals, but the hardest thing to get is the feel. It is to actually provide something that doesn't detract from the music and adds something to the music almost without being noticed. It's the basis, it's the ground floor of what we build so much music on, both harmonically, but also just in the groove of the music. So that's what we're really going to focus on, because that's something that we really notice. And it's what I particularly enjoy about playing the bass. As strange as it might seem, I really do enjoy being in the background on the bass. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Neville. It's just I find it a really joyous sort of thing. So we're taking the same approach to this course as we've taken with the improvisation courses. That it's about three things. It's about scales or riffs. I mean, what you actually play. When do you play what? And that's what we call context. But it might also be genre. I think we should turn and then there's this very obtuse, nebulous thing called feel. And so we'll be really focusing on feel. That's really what we feel that people need to know. And we do know that some people have it more than others. And of all the people in this room, John has it more than most, like in spades. He's got technique, dedication, he's got love for the instrument, but most of all, he listens really, really well and can translate that into the instrument. Because he's our wage slave now, we can get him to do this teaching with us. No, it's not free. It's all right. It's $5 a day. Thank you. Are you guys going okay online there? Yeah, Steph, I'm looking at you. Yeah, Anne. Yep, great. Thank you, Gail. The other aspect that we thought we'd throw in a little bit at the end each day is sort of history, or what our favourite bass players are and what they do. Right, good. This has come out of the ukulele community, so there is probably a lot of context there, and the people online are very much ukulele people as well. So they're, I'm confused when I look at myself. I should say, this is not notation. We are not providing you with notation. You would all know that we provide you with chords, but you would all know that there's a musical continuum between those virtuosos who can only read notation, like they're classical musicians, and those virtuosos who don't know what that fly poo is on a page, those things that go up and down. They have no idea what that is. And some of the best players in the world are ear musicians. And so I guess we're more towards the ear side, and we are assuming that that's where that's where we think that people should be as well. It's fantastic if you can read notation, but we're not teaching notation. I think that's, do you reckon I've covered it, John? That I don't think I need to go into that stuff.
The other thing is that what we're trying to teach, I guess, is I just wanted to say that what we're doing is kind of specifically geared towards Ukestra playing. I think that was the other thing. So obviously these skills will be transferable into other places outside of Ukestra, but Ukestra is the place that we're sort of preparing you for, in a sense, because there are, Ukestra bass player specific skills that are quite useful and valuable, and will be valuable outside of it as well. And that's what I want to say.
And I think one of the aspects of the Ukestra that we do not have are drums. So we're toying with the idea. Sorry about that online. It might have been a bit loud. But I was just playing with the acoustics in here. I don't know what it would be like if we had a drum set in here.
Yes, it might be a bit much.
It might be a bit much. But we're toying with the idea of doing that maybe in the last week, so you get an experience of being with a drummer. How we achieve that, we don't know.
This is a drummer in a box. It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's not only a metronome, but you can choose a rhythm, change tempo, or volume on it, and choose one of about 10 instruments.
May I? Is it?
All goes.
So one of the people in the audience is just showing this little box that can do rhythm, tempo, drum machine, and metronome. So hey guys, let's keep going, okay? Because you've got to keep.
Yeah. All right. I think we can. Let's go to the first song, John, which is this. The first thing we're going to do is the one. It's the root, and what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate it first, and then we'll play through the song. And as you would see, everybody has had access to the music beforehand. That's long way to the top. You guys are all got that online, have you? Mike, you got that? Mr. Opie? Yep. Gail? Good. Yep, great. And
Yes,
Anne?
I have been provided it.
Who was that? Mike? Mike?
Yeah, I said I have been provided it. That's a bit of an in-joke to Bruce.
Oh, okay, so good. You keep your in-jokes to yourself. I might try and find one here.
Okay, so you're going to need to be here.
Yep.
So what? Generally the process.
You've got to remember to always be talking there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Generally the approach is that we will demonstrate something. I'm going to provide rhythm. John's going to be playing the bass, and then we'll all play that together. And in this first song, we're very much going to be watching what you're doing and seeing how you're doing. That's the end of that case. It's A, isn't it? Yeah. And it's quite counterintuitive, this song. So don't play for the start, please. Don't play for this. It's counterintuitive. I always thought the bass was da 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 da, and John goes, no.
So
I mean-
each need to be shot, please. For the camera.
Yep.
I guess what actually I won't say it now. I'll say it later. Don't worry, guys.
Close enough. Yep. It's a long way to the shop if you want to rock and roll. And that'll do. Yep. Because I think we all should. Any brief questions before you play?
So, first up, straight technique. So, I spent a lot of time playing one thing, and what you straight away want to do is, particularly for that rhythm.
Yes.
So that's a technique thing.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, I was playing with two fingers. Chris was just saying that he spent a while playing with one finger. which is technically an alright method, but
Bruce,
it does make it easier when you can get the two fingers happening. So in terms of technique, yeah, if you want to play faster and with better rhythm, you need to play with two fingers as a general.
so that's just a really quick inquiry. Are there any other things before you start playing?
Well, I noticed that you were playing the bass, you were playing the A string, well, you were playing an A, but I wasn't sure, couldn't see whether you were playing the A string or the A or the G.
Good point, sir. So as a general rule, and it's harder on Ubase, but as a general rule, I like to try and avoid the open strings if I can. I like, if I'm going to play an A, it's totally fine to play an open A, but I like to use the 5th fret of the E string instead because it gives me more control over the sound. Because you can mute with both fingers, and if you can mute with both fingers, you have the most control. It also means you can slide, you can hammer up to it, all that sort of stuff.
But so this is about the one, and we want to see how you play, and we'll be looking at your fingers and seeing how it goes. And then we will do 3 breakout groups. There'll be 2 of the people in this room and a breakout group of the people online, which is a different technique altogether and quite a challenge. You right, Ken? Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So what's going to happen is
Do you want some music?
you're going to play along the top.
So everyone play along.
You're going to play along, you're going to be able to, and Frank is going to play along and get that dual finger action.
That's it. And if you don't feel like you have to play up on the 5th fret, for instance, if you play the way that you would, because then we can help you the best way we can.
And I noticed that Martin and Craig have just stood up.
All right.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Why did you stand up?
Because I can play proper sitting down.
Yeah.
Why did you stand up? Yeah. I think you get more groove if you're standing up too. So yeah.
It is easy to move your body. Bruce, yeah.
With this solo, you can fly.
Sorry, say that again, Bruce. Chris.
But the other eye is kind of different. So
Yes.
how do you shoot something?
I won't talk about that yet, but I will later.
Okay. Somebody asked which A do you play, which A do you choose? Remember, always repeat the question back.
Yeah, sorry, Jen. All right, so yeah, play along, and yeah, do your best to emulate me, but make sure you're still playing the way you would.
A beard is never going to come in.
So if you can all grow a beard, that would help.
Sorry?
The one thing I've noticed from finding the first, they're on purpose or whether they
Yes, that's a great
We'll
point.
come back to
We'll
that.
talk
Let's
about
play
it.
this on.
We'll talk about
Let's play
it.
this on.
That's good.
We'll talk about all the technique stuff after we play.
Who's going to count it in, John?
Usually, it's quite often a good idea for the bass player to, but we may run into a problem here.
That's right.
All right, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Try playing in a rock and roll band. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Anybody got any bagpipes?
Let's finish here. All right, nice. Okay. always start.
Well, did you look at any fingers as you went around?
Yeah, so okay. First thing, what I was noticing a lot of was people were not quite following the rhythm that I was doing. A lot of you were, which is great, but I hear a lot of people doing what the uke is doing. My rhythm, the whole time.
Did anybody not do that? Who didn't
Well,
do
you
that?
played before, why is it? I thought that was exactly what you did. I thought that wasn't the uke one.
Which one? The
The uke one, no, the uke one.
Okay, should we do it?
Let's do it again, and let's also let's do it a little bit.
I know what my point is. I'm playing it. Yeah, that's not what it's
So just do it again, John, just demonstrate again.
Sure. And also, next time let's do it a bit slower too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'm not changing notes. I am emphasizing things, but I'll talk about it later.
Just listen to John and then join in.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just. All right. So yeah, do you?
So I was hearing the emphasis when you were.
Yeah.
I was hearing that as a rhythm.
Yes.
On that emphasis.
So that's a really good point you're making, Chris, because
what was his point for them?
yeah, sorry, yeah. So the point that Chris was making is that he heard the emphasis of what I was playing rather than the full rhythm, which is kind of what I'm trying to do in a sense. So I am in reality just playing straight notes like that.
And that's not what I hear though.
I'm not hearing straight notes.
No, right. Yeah, that's refined listening, I think. If I don't, but
As soon
that's
as-
not good enough what you were doing there.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically. This is the basics of it, where it is that there's no emphasis at all. But the real trick with straight notes like that, in rock music, when you have notes like that, you have to emphasize it, and you should really emphasize the beats that the rhythm guitar or uke is doing. So when I'm playing, I'll overdo it now, but. So it should be coming through a bit there. If I do it so that's a little bit more laid back, but it's the same thing. You can still hear the
And
emphasis.
for me, I find that uninspiring. But there's not as much to bounce off. It is a difficult thing. I mean, the nature of a orchestra is that there's a whole suite of skills from beginner to experience. But even if there's a whole bunch of experienced people, they're still going to be doing slightly different. So everybody's trying to strum. So it's much easier when you're a single guitar, for instance, and the bass, and we can interact really strongly. But that's, the bass player really has to provide something that we can bounce off and lock onto. And that's not just what you're playing. It's like your communication, your eye communication or your body communication, I think as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Yeah, so I was talking about emphasis, and yeah, so with the root particularly, that's super important. With these sorts of songs, it's super important because you want to try and lock in with the rhythm instrument, the uke or the guitar or whatever. Because if you catch yourself just doing that, like what you said was uninspiring or something. Yeah.
It's
Which
the
is
dynamic.
so yes. In terms of beats, 1, 2, 3. It's like the 4 and then the 4 and. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
Just say that again.
So yeah, Becca's just saying that because we're starting a little bit before the beat, I'm actually starting with my index finger on the wrong beat. Yeah, pretty much.
That's not, you're not talking about just at the beginning of the song. You're talking about the beginning of the bar. So,
Before the first beat, the first bar, and then the whole way through. And that's it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I guess so Bex is talking about like which finger I'm using when I'm coming in to set up the rhythm, and
that's a pretty fine detail.
it is, which is okay. I guess what I want to draw from that is that which finger you use kind of doesn't matter as much. It is usually good technique to start with your index on beat one and use your middle finger for the other beat. But sometimes it might work better to the other one. Anyway.
Sorry, just a sec. You guys online, if you've got a question, if you unmute, we can we'll probably hear it because it's not as noisy as the orchestra. Or yeah, but
no, best if that unmute actually.
yeah, best if you unmute.
Can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah, go, Mike.
I noticed you've got your hand right down sort of the bottom of the U bass. Is that the best place to? I've always played it right sort of the other side of the sound hole.
Yeah, so
that's a good question.
It is a really good question. Yeah, so the question for people who didn't hear is Mike was asking about where with this hand I pluck. And this is another thing I noticed is that a lot of people are playing up here.
Oh, listen to the sound difference. Listen how fat it is.
Look, this is bad.
Yeah, I know. That was really fat, wasn't it?
Fat in a bad way.
Fat and bad. Yeah, I agree.
So usually when you say fat,
I know. It's wicked. No, it's not wicked.
So you can hear when I play it here. It's a bit weird.
And you lose control.
You do.
I can't do it up there.
Yes. So
you're right. I'm sitting here thinking, how are you getting that net? And because when I'm playing here, I'm getting way too much vibration. I can hear it.
Too much vibration, and you lose control of the string.
exactly. Yeah. So when you're playing up here, closer to the bridge, so closer to the bottom of the bass, it makes a huge difference in terms of your control because the string isn't wobbling around so much. When you play up here, it's got way more, it's slack. It can move a bunch more. Up here, it's a lot tighter, so it's much easier. Yeah, that's the main takeaway. Okay. Sorry.
And I was just thinking that follow through with the fingers like that. I'm just trying to. I think we should all just have a quick go of that because I'm seeing what I'm seeing is some people are a bit fluffy with their finger movements. And some people, like I was looking at Trish, and you're treating it like a baby doll or something, You've really got to, I believe, you've got to attack the bass. So,
This song's not a good example. Actually, so let's play it
you still
again.
have to be really certain, even if it is a gentle song. You still have to be really certain.
Yeah. So what I want to say about that, even over on this string, the general rule when you pluck, if you're on these higher strings, you pull through onto the next string. Okay. When you pluck. So when I do it, this finger pulls through, lands on the E string. You can't do it so well over here. You have to sort of imagine it, but you want the same amount of strength when you do it over here. And so every time my finger lands on the next string.
So except you can't do that. You're only saying that you can't do that on the E string.
Yeah, which is why that song wasn't a good example.
Right. Yes.
But yeah, in terms of strength, that's how much you want to play. Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, you had a
Yes,
question.
sorry.
I'm wondering if you're doing that because I noticed when I'm starting every violin, there's a number of notes.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of doing it because it was an accident. Truthfully,
The question was
yes.
around this. You're starting each bar alternating, and so neither. What you're saying is that neither finger is really prioritized. And I think what you need to have, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you need to have equal strength in both fingers, equal dexterity,
Yeah, no, it
so
is-
you can swap those beats confidently.
Yeah, it's really important to have equal dexterity. Usually, your index should have priority as beat one, but you want to be able to swap that, especially if you get mixed up, because it's really hard to swap back if you accidentally start on the wrong side. So when I'm doing this one, because I start on the beat before, it means that beat one becomes the wrong finger. Okay, so yeah, as Mark was saying, you want to have both fingers equally strong, so that if something like that happens, it's not a big deal. You can just roll with it.
Could we just do a little bit of that now and just go around again with people's fingers?
I think we should play it together
Okay,
once
sure.
more, and slower, because we're quite fast. Because the other thing I noticed, and it's totally okay, but I noticed some of you don't quite have that speed yet, and that's fine, because this straight eighths is actually one of the trickier things to do as a beginner. So we'll just go a little bit slower, so it's a bit easier.
Just hang on.
What was that
Yes.
bit?
Sorry, Ruth.
I was just going to ask, on the chorus bit, you know, the long way to the top, if you want to rock and roll, are you using exactly the same straight eighths thing, or was there a different groove going on there?
No. Yeah. So when I'm going to the chorus, the question was what I'm playing in the chorus, and it's not the straight eighths. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. So I do the long notes, and the long notes come in just before the beat as well. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Okay, makes sense? Is that all right, Ruth? Awesome, yeah. Okay, let's play it together a little bit slower. Yep. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let's stop there. Alright, that looked better. That looked a lot better, which is really good.
So I think we covered that was finger technique. We covered the closed versus open strings.
Yes, that was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, but my observation of new bass players is that they tend to go for, if they want to do an E note, they tend to go for the octave of the the octave of, so.
Well, only certain bass players do that. I tend to notice that more tentative bass players like to play fine.
Right, that's probably what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you just show us what I mean there?
So, for instance, someone might be playing a bass line that is, on an E chord, and instead of going for that one, for instance, they might go up for the high E, the second fret, octave up. Yeah.
Nearly always. Because once you go to that beat, you've got nowhere to go at all. That's
I do not understand your logic, Chris.
Well, I do understand your logic, Chris, because I think it's important to give yourself room to move in both ways.
Yeah.
But the trap that people fall into is that they never actually go down. They forget to actually use that. So I think it's important not to restrict yourself to certain octaves. Like I think when I'm making up a bass line, I tend to stick around the middle at the start of the song. If I want it to be softer, I might go up higher. If I want it to be really dirgy and heavy or something, I go down lower. But that's just a broad thing. Like you can just as easily play really hard on the high strings or really softly on the low strings. So you really just want to do what's best for the occasion.
Good. I think, yeah, Trish.
Those three notes are all fresh. Are you using the same finger down, or are you using your three fingers like?
Left hand. This is a question about left hand technique.
Left hand technique. So I usually just, it is. Yeah. So I struggle. I struggle too. So I use. It's actually really good practice to use a finger for each fret, especially down low. It gets your fingers stretched out. And so when I'm here, because I know I have to go down to the low G, I use my third finger on the A. Now when you start, that's probably not going to be your strongest finger. That's okay, but it's good to practice. And then when I go down to the G, I don't have to move my hand at all.
So you're using the G on the fret of the G on the fret.
Yeah, so that's what we're saying about going up higher. But you don't need to. With something like that, this is like the heavy point in the song. So it's a bit like, way to the top, you wanna rock it. It's a bit weird jumping around octaves like that.
It's just going down, so you just go.
It just makes more sense.
I figure it's the instrument is called a bass guitar for a reason. So you play your bass notes. We might move on to. I want to ask about what you think. I mean, we've been discussing a bit, but what elements make up feel, or what is feel? Anybody got anything to contribute there?
Pauses.
Pauses, the silences. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Tempo. Yeah.
Syncopation was what was said.
For syncopation, but for the bass, for me, the questions of John are more about how do I make the note sound? How long does the sound go for? When do you come in? Do you jump in quickly or do you lag behind a bit? That sets up feel for me.
Is it the way the song is played? Well, this is a fast rock song, so it's all bom 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 bom. If you'd done the same song as a ballad or a folk song, you'd just be playing one.
Sure. If you do that song, if you do that song as a ballad, or as John said to me the other day, please do not swing another rock song of mine, because I tend to go for the swing. I like that sort of feel on these, and I can achieve it.
Well, that's what I think.
But you still need to have feel, even if you're slow. There are elements of feel that still need to happen.
That was quite a good answer, though, Craig. Like how the song. Actually, I forget what it says. How it feels. What's the next point you want to?
Oh no. Well, you said about space. What's space? If you think about reggae, it's a very sparse bass line sometimes. So but it's also got a very specific rhythm instrument with it, like a guitar doing something else that's solid. So the bass, or drums, the delaying or anticipating notes as well. I think I mentioned that, or we mentioned that.
We were doing that in the song. We were anticipating the first beat, which is something that we do all the time. It makes a big difference in the song if we go dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So, compared to doing something else, not doing that.
Good.
Little things like that make a big change.
I said before, listening, and you really need to listen to who you're playing with and listen to yourself. But Jane is always on to me about, do I speed up the song or slow it down? Speed up. Yeah, I speed up pretty chronically, and now John has got enough confidence that he's starting to yell at me as well to say slow down if I'm on bass.
That was just me.
Right, so that it's a pretty chronic, and John even confessed to happens to you as well.
It does, yeah, it does. Because I get excited, and that's the whole thing. Really.
And that's the
You get excited, and you like to go faster when you get excited.
And also, you haven't got drums.
Yes, but when drummers get excited,
Drummers
it's
do
even
the same.
worse.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
worse. Okay. So in regards to that, your homework is to get some sort of app, metronome app, unless you've got a metronome, and play something and contribute that to the Facebook group. Now, the Facebook group, thank you, Martin. The Facebook group link is now on the webpage, and the webpage has been slightly updated as well.
I can recommend. Let's check.
No,
Can we move on, guys? Yeah.
yeah.
About 100.
Okay. Wait a minute. Steph's just given us something. Can we look at what Steph said? And we've got to move to the breakout groups. Your
Yep.
2 chatter boxes.
Steph?
She had a. And just look at you.
Not a question. Just wanted to ask whenever
Yes.
you're playing with
Yes. Great.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Can't hear
Yes.
Don't be too loud is the other thing.
Thank
If you're-
you.
if
Thank
you're
you, Steph.
accompanying
Thanks. We'll
instruments.
make sure. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So can we do the breakout group?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Enough talk.
Good. So breakout groups. Where are we going?
All right, there's 7 of you that are going to go into the vestibule. If you want a chair, you need to take your chair. Otherwise, you're just going to stand up and play in that little sort of area there. John will take. Thanks. John's going to take you out there, and the 7 that are going are Mark Jackson.
Or you think I can take as well?
Oh, I don't think you'll need it, will you, for that song?
What's
You're just going to do Long Way to the Top. So
Just so we all know, it's a good bag.
they're a mixed batch of lollies, Chris.
So with John heading outside, Mike Waters, Peter King, Bruce McNair, Martin, Sam, Chris Robinson, and Ken.
Okay.
And the others are staying in here.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to, hopefully you're all going, well, one at a time you're going to unmute and the rest of us are going to listen to you play. Hang on a minute, I've just got to just move a bit of stuff around. Oh, actually they're moving, that's even better, not us. So I'm just going to, we're all going to listen to you play that dun 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 dun. You know, we won't worry too much about the chorus, but we'll try and listen to you on the verse and we'll have a look at your fingers. It's my attempt to try and make sure that you guys get some feedback on your playing when you're online. Ruth, would you start because you are the most confident at using the whole Zoom model? And would you play a little bit so I can hear you?
Can you hear?
No, damn it.
My bass is terrible, unfortunately.
Okay.
Hang on, I might try putting my microphone on the floor.
Okay, that'd be great. Near the bass. Great. Hey, can you turn down? Tuck. You can turn down the amp. Come on.
It's a bit dangerous. No. Right, do it. How's that?
No, we're not hearing you. That's what I was worried.
I'll see if I can crank it up.
Yeah, crank it up.
I'm
Make
hearing
it. You can hear it, can you?
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Oh, now I can hear it. Fantastic. Give us a go, Ruth.
Where are we? So there was a-
And count us in and just play it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Any good? Oh, you've frozen on me, Jack.
That's not bad, Ruth. That's not bad. It's unfortunately. Oh, I've just frozen. It's dropping you out of. Hey, Mark, you can't play. You can't play that loud, okay? So, oh, good. I've got rid of them. Jesus, it's loud. Just got told by Steph to shut the fuck up.
Look, I think what I was trying to achieve there was to sort of think 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and
yeah, it's that grunt, isn't it? It's the grunt before the bar.
That little grunt before the bar, and
Gail,
I hadn't found that before.
I find it. Gail, have you got any comments to feedback to us about that stuff, about that and that 2-finger technique?
Can you hear me, Jane?
Absolutely.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I thought that was terrific, Ruth. Really, so even. You were so even. What I was gathering from John was it's the 8th of the quavers which gets the kick, and you don't notice it in the first bar.
It's true
until you get to the 8th. So the little upbeat kick is missing. That's what I'm hearing.
You want to play a little bit, Gail, for us, even though you're not amplified? You want to try playing?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry about that. No amp. Okay.
It's okay.
So here's my first bar. I can see how this goes. Can you hear, Jane? Is that making? Can you hear it? I'll stand up.
Yeah.
Might get me a bit closer to the mic. Yeah. Here we go. I'll have a go anyway. Can you hear it, Jane?
That is fantastic.
Very faint, but it's that.
No, it's totally fine.
Gets the emphasis. That's what I was hearing from John.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
And John suggested that we use the index for the 8th. So you've got to think about that ahead of time, which means actually number 1's got to be a middle. In order for number 8 to be your index, you've got to kind of think ahead for that.
I was interchanging my number 1 and 2 for that 8th note, as you call it.
Well, there's different. Yeah, I mean, there's different ways of doing it, and John said that too. I think the beauty of it is that they're dead even, which Ruth was, and if possible, give the 8th one a kick with whatever finger you happen to have at the time.
That's great. Hey, Mike, would you like to play for us? Is this something you'd be comfortable? That's all right. You don't have to. It's okay. Don't worry, because it's all levels. I just need to let you know that Gail is one of our best bass players in Newcastle in our group. Okay.
Yeah, I assume she was. Yes. Now,
yes.
I've always played with 1 finger, so this 2-finger, I've really got to sort of. Yeah, I'm struggling. So.
Yeah, you will struggle at first.
I'll look a goose.
Yeah. But hey, it's a beautiful technique to have. So I'm glad. It's fantastic. You've made your money. You've learned something in the first lesson, so that's great. Hey, Anne, do you want to give this a go? Would you like to play for us? Oh, you'll have to unmute, Anne. You have to unmute. You'll have to unmute. You're still muted, Anne. There you are. Perfect.
I'm played it for a year.
That's good, Anne. That's great. Hey, there's something that John taught me that you're doing. I used to do it when I first started. He told me not to rest my thumb on top of the bass like you are. Gail, not to rest your thumb on top of the bass like you are. It's got to be hanging over the strings. If you rest it anywhere, it's usually on the E string, which you can't do because you're playing the E string. But you need to have it in the location with the other fingers. John told me that years ago. Don't rest it on the top of the bass like that. But that was really great timing. And Gail and Ruth, have you got comments on Anne? That sounded pretty good to me. And I liked how you slow. What you can manage is great.
Can I talk, Jane? I'm not good at Zoom. I am so not good at Zoom. I thought Anne was beautifully even, and that's in my view, the most important thing. The timing was excellent. Possibly try work on straightening the fingers, not curving, you're not plucking, no plucking. You get a better result if you walk the fingers hanging from that top joint, I've been told by many people that play much better than me. So not plucking. But it was good, Anne. It was good.
Well done.
Very
Anne.
even. Yeah.
Shall we go to Steph? Anne, would you like to mute? Oh, you already have. Steph, you want to unmute? Do you want to have a go at this?
Yeah, I don't have an amp this week. I didn't know I needed one. So.
It's all right. I didn't tell you, but actually, Ruth has shown that we can actually hear you pretty well without one. So that's great.
As long as we kick Mark out of the room. So I'm also putting in those other emphasized beats because it doesn't feel natural to me just to do the 4 and. There's also 1 and the 3. So I'm doing all of them. So sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the chorus. 3, 4.
Hey, Steph, would you mind moving your camera? We can't quite see your right hand.
I can't move the...
Just move your camera a tad so we can see your right hand.
I can't tilt the iMac any further.
Can you move you? Yeah, perfect. Can you do that again?
Okay, 1, 2.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Can you do that again? It means we can see your hand a bit better.
3, 4. Sorry, I lost it. 1, 2, 3.
That's all right.
And the chorus. 2. And I'm stuffing it up because there's...
It's all right. Hey, Gail, I think Steph was plucking too. Did you think, Gail?
I'm trying to play it loudly.
Yeah, I thought she was plucking.
I'm just trying to play it loud.
No, it looked...
Yeah, I understand that, Steph, because you got no amp. I got no amp. It's a bit frustrating, but we'll be right by next time. No, well, again, nice and even. Possibly just remember they're not resting the thumb on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a good point you make that it's not just that 8th that needs the emphasis. Yeah, you're quite right. Something there in the middle is good too. So yeah, good work there.
Nice. That was good. And Mike, if you'd like to have a go slowly, feel free. This is not competition, this stuff. It's just everybody helping each other. So up to you, Mike, whenever you're feeling comfortable, if you want to do something. The others have got bigger groups than us and they haven't got through everybody. So I wouldn't mind if we actually moved forward to another song and just had a bit of a muck around with it. Just hang on, I'll just get the other song. Just a minute. Sorry, talk among yourselves.
I'm going to have to get
Gail, can you hear me?
another amp because mine is...
Yes, Jane, I can hear you. Ruth's just talking too. She's got a message for us, I think.
Oh no, I was just saying that my amp is the one that my son learnt to play the bass amp in year 3, and he's now in year 2 of medical school. So it's making this intermittent crackling noise. I think the first thing I'm going to have to do tomorrow is go and buy the amplifier.
Maybe just switch it off, Ruth. Several of us are managing without an amp.
Yeah, I reckon so too.
Going to go and see. Yeah, it's probably not such a big deal, in fact.
Look, we're going to skip ahead a bit in the program and we're going to go to Hit the Road Jack, just while we wait for the others to finish. And here we've got I'm just going to play the uke so you guys have a little bit of a practice to Hit the Road Jack. I haven't got the right, which is going to be our next song. So just hang on a minute, go grab the music and I'll be back. Just give me a minute. I have to change things. Right. So you should be able to hear now better than what was before. That our next song is going to be "Hit the Road, Jack," and this is a song that has a lot more chord changes in it, and so the ukes are going to go, "Hit the road, Jack, don't you come back no more, oh, oh no more. Hit the road, Jack, don't you come back no more." Can you hear me all right? Do, 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 So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a heads up, have a little bit of a play to that while we wait for the others to come in, because you were so quick. And I won't do any teaching on this. I'll leave that to John and Mark as to what they want to do with it. But I think they still want you to stay on the one in this song. But the one, of course, the one changes because you've got those half bars of A to G, F to E7. So you're changing your one. And yeah, so a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. Do 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 Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. 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 Oh, really? God, he talks too much. And we'll leave it there. Okay, we've just got to get the people in the room again and start for the next exercise.
We had a really weird experience.
What's
the
that?
Wi-Fi lead wouldn't work for women, but it would work for men.
Oh, that's stupid. Well, we found that the people online, they don't actually need to be amplified. I can just hear them acoustically if they get close enough to the mic.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's good to know. Of course, I need you to go.
You needed us out of the room.
I needed you guys out of the room.
Well, I guess we could go to the dungeon. You don't.
Yeah, you guys don't need Wi-Fi like I do, and the dungeon is not switched on. The Wi-Fi is not switched on in the dungeon. Yeah, so you guys just go down there, and yeah, okay. So we'll get. Can you get John to shake a leg and tell him to stop talking? Okay, everybody's just wandering into the room now, and we'll be going to the next section, which is that song and Walking on Sunshine too. We won't have any breakout rooms for these two songs.
So while we're waiting,
And what's he doing?
You still got. How many's you got to go? Two. So that's one.
so while we're waiting,
As many too?
Yeah, you had as many.
thinking about getting it anyway. I reckon
Any questions about that stuff? Questions or comments?
Talk louder, Steph.
None? You've,
The syncopation would be called, that's what I was struggling with.
I was calling it I was calling it like a dynamic syncopation, really. Like, yeah, they're both, I think they're both nouns or whatever it is. Like, you're putting in dynamic, but it's a syncopated dynamic, I reckon, is probably what it is. It's what gives the song syncopation. But in conjunction with the rhythm ukulele.
The emphasis, is it like?
Is the what?
We're playing eights.
Yes.
So you do the emphasised one, you miss one over, you miss the eight after that.
I don't think John was missing any. So he was. So we're playing eights.
The one after that. Yeah, he found
yeah, it is. So it's this really difficult combination, I reckon, of consistency. Like, you basically do have to go dun 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 dun, and don't deviate from that. But you're going dun 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 dun. You know, whatever it is, you're giving emphasis whilst keeping consistency, and that's a challenge. Sorry, that's what?
So if you're going
da,
up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down.
I'm following John, so there's. It's very difficult to hear you. So
Up, down, down, up,
on the ukulele,
up, down.
yeah.
So that's what it is. 8, 3, 5, 8, 3, 5.
8, 3, 5. It's 8, 3, 5. So you're saying, 8. They're the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So Beck is emphasising the 8. The 8th quarter note, the 3rd quarter note, and the 5th quarter note. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, quaver. Because they're quavers, because it's a bar. Right. All right. No.
It's not Hit Project.
So
we'll give Walking on Sunshine.
I reckon that song is probably the most difficult one. It feels like that's the most difficult technique song to achieve. That sort of thing. We're going to just now do. I would hope this is simpler. Is Hit the Road Jack, which is just for you guys. It's just, and it's all the one again. It's A, G, F, E, A, G, F, E. Are you right, John?
Straight, get started.
Oh yes. Well, yeah, yes. Was there somebody else out there, or? No. I'll just shut the door. Oh, I think we just play it and then we can talk to it. You ready? John, you want this? We had this weird thing where the Wi-Fi bass cord wouldn't play for the women. We had to plug them in with a lead. What? Exactly. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, A minor. What's he doing there? He's just doing one note.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more.
Is that right, that next scale? Or was it steps?
Hit the road, Jack.
Woman, don't you treat me so mean. You're the meanest woman that I ever see. Well, I guess you say so. I have to pack my things and go.
That's right, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
Okay, let's just stop there.
Yeah.
It's so simple, it's so lovely.
And then notice that you've got the verse and the chorus are exactly the same. So there's, what is the difference? Was there any difference in what you did?
Yes, a little difference.
A little difference?
Yeah. So,
So we all play it. Let's all play it. And then I reckon maybe talk.
We did what John's got to say though, because he was doing something very subtle there.
Yes, but I'm wondering if he can say that whilst we're playing it.
I don't know about that.
Okay, fine. All right, that's fine. Go. Gail, have you got a question?
I do, Mark. Yes.
You've got to unmute. Go, Gail.
I know the song.
Oh, it's in the headphones, I think.
Oh, it's in the headphones. Where's the headphones?
Oh, the headphones
No,
are
it's
unplugged.
not in the headphones. I just have to get it.
Oh, there. Okay, Gail, we might have you there. Go.
Okay. Quick, if you can hear me, the question is this:
Yeah.
what, genre,
If these guys shush for a sec, please. Go, Gail.
what genre is Hit the Road Jack, please?
I would probably call it jazz in the
Thanks.
most basic way possible.
Okay,
that's
thanks,
probably
John.
the easiest way to say it.
And can you put your own hand down, Gail?
Yes.
Very good. So yeah, what I was doing there that made it different, and this is what I was talking about before about using different, using higher or lower notes to create a change in the song. So in the verses, I like to play it up here. Then when we get to the chorus, hit the road, Jack. You go down the octave, of course. No more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. And don't you come back no more. Then when you go back to the verses, there's a slightly different vibe.
Well, yes. That which is the vocal that I went for. Oh, woman, which is higher.
Yeah.
And Ray Charles does that as well, and that sort of fits better with your higher.
Can we also get you to talk, John, about the length of your notes and where you come in?
Sure. Okay, so one other little thing I'm doing is I'm doing what's called a leading note, which is where you do a note underneath a note or above a note, like directly above or below, that leads to the next note. So I'm going dum, 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 and then I throw that in to go back up to the A.
Can you do it again, please? There's also another note there. It's a ghost note. You're almost doing a ghost note.
I am. Let's not talk about ghost notes yet, I don't think. Sure. They're really cool, but we'll save it for later.
Week 7.
Yeah, that's right. Now, in terms of length of the note, each one of those, I'm imagining one thing that really helps me when I'm playing is imagining what the drums would be doing. Just in general, I tend to do that all the time because
Is
it
that
really
a
helps
certified
me.
mental illness?
Potentially. When I walk down the street. Anyway, the reason that helps me is that you can stop the note by doing a little tap with this hand. In this song, it's really useful because you want to end the note when the backbeat of the drums would happen. So
where's the snare?
That's right. Where's the snare? You always want to think about that. In jazz, it's hard. They don't use snare on the backbeat, but
is that a ghost note or not?
It's not a ghost note. Well, technically, I guess it kind of is. But for the sake of this, it provides, for me, the backbeat, and it also stops the note. It's really useful in orchestra because there's no drums and it adds an extra layer of percussion. Not useful in the studio. They hate it when you do that.
I did that in the studio. It was terrible.
They hate when you do that. So you have to be careful if you're ever recording in the studio.
But also the U-bass strings are quite sticky. So even when you take your fingers away in a studio, you take your fingers away from the plastic strings, they make a noise.
Though you do also have the shitty aerial strings
Right. Okay. Good.
that are really sticky.
Right.
So yeah, that's the other important thing. So oftentimes you will stop the note when the snare will hit or when the backbeat of the drums. That's what I try and do a lot of the time. It's not the universal rule. Different genres they can do different things. But for stuff like this, and especially orchestra stuff, that's almost always what I would do.
So which hand is doing that tap?
This one. The one last thing is that when I go to the E, it's a little bit early, okay, rhythmically. The rest of them are on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. Yeah, so that one's just a little early. Okay, let's try it together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. What you say?
Oh, woman, don't you people so mean? You're the sweetest thing that I've ever seen. Yes, if you said so. I have to pack my things and go.
That's right, hit the road. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back.
It's weird. I'm not seeing any M's on an E. And I'm hardly seeing anybody use the E string. I mean, I would just go from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret to the 1st fret to the open. Yeah. That's what you would do. Yeah. Right, okay. Right.
So I would do that. I would do that in the chorus.
Right.
We moved away from the chorus.
Okay, sorry. Yes, right. Okay. One, chorus. 1, 2, 3.
Hit the road.
Okay.
Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road. Don't you come back no more. How about a verse? Oh woman, don't you treat me so mean. You're the meanest old woman that I ever seen.
I guess if you say so. I can make my things go.
Chorus, that's right, hit the road. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road. Don't you come back no more. Alright, let's stop there because I have something I want to say. Because I'm seeing a bunch of people going like this. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. You're going up instead of going all the way down. So the whole thing with this song is that it's descending. If you go, all of a sudden it's not descending anymore. It's the same notes, but you're going instead of okay.
No, I was looking at Neville actually. Neville was
Well,
doing
I didn't
something.
want to know names. So I was saying Neville.
But you meet Neville, didn't you?
And also Peter. I also met Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're going with something like that. And this is something I guess that comes with experience. You just get to know how songs should be per se, in a sense. But with a pattern like that, it should just keep going down instead of jumping around octaves.
Okay. I got a question here. What power do you have as a bass player? We've got 4 areas. Tempo. So tempo is really critical, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So we've talked about that. So that's really what we called the other day rhythmic power. But there are other powers that you have. Yeah, that's not what I'm thinking of. No.
The swing, what do you call that?
The feel.
How straight you do it.
That's sort of a rhythmic.
Yeah.
It is a good one.
It is.
Though in my head I put tempo and that together, even though they're both rhythmic. But anyway,
So
rhythmic there.
I guess what we're not thinking of is okay, that's so it's what we call that harmonic power. So can we please play, just John and I will play an A minor 7. So ready, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's an A minor 7, right? So but now I am going to play a C6 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I'm doing exactly the same thing. And now, John, what's the next chord that we'll do?
Then we move to an F add 9.
F major 7.
F major 7.
Add 9, yes. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, I'm doing nothing different. And now, John says it's also a D11, omit the third. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's
You
it.
can make a whole chord pattern.
Oh, let's write a song. What song should? What would be a good sequence? Well, okay, it doesn't matter. Ready, 1? Have you got it?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. What was the chord progression that you just wrote?
I went C6, A minor 7. Oh, sorry, C6, D11, omit 3, A minor 7, F major 7. It was that easy.
Right.
So basically burn your name.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Really? Awesome. So that's the harmonic pair of the bass. The bass will often set that. No, set that. Another one that we had, and it's what we were trying to do with the other thing is, have you got that notation?
I'll get on to that.
Only for the ukulele step. She asked if there was any notation for that. And there's only notation for the was the dynamic power. And I'm thinking we're doing Hurt at the moment, the song Hurt in a lot of orchestras, and it builds up at the end, and a lot of that comes down to the bass, doesn't it?
That's true. The other part of dynamic power is what we were talking about before with accenting, emphasizing different beats.
Micro beats almost. Yeah.
So, the little bit of extra volume you put into one is what will make that accent.
Syncopated dynamism or dynamic syncopation.
You can use whatever words you like.
And then the other one, the last one that we thought of, which you mentioned already, is the leading tones. So a melodic, right?
Yeah.
The harmonic power suggests the harmony that you should be listening to, and hence those chords. But a melodic power, Jane, I asked Jane before what's her favourite bass line, and can you? Yes. Well, what are some of your favourite bass lines? You got a bass line in your head that you? Lou Reed. Walk on the Wild Side. Yeah. Chris, what's? Hey. Thank you, Chris. So Chris has just got dong. And Gail, what's your favourite?
Day Tripper.
Day Trip. Oh, Day Tripper. That's a great Beatles one. And we've also got. Oh yes, Ruth Allen has suggested Billie Jean. Yeah. And that was Gail. No, good. What did you say? Psycho Killer. Dom, 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 dom. Good. So you get the idea that you can have the bass can be a real melodic driver of the song as well. Okay. Walking on Sunshine?
Yeah, I think we'll do 105 next week.
I think we'll do 105 next week. And I'll finish with Paul McCartney. Cool.
Just one thought there. I want to play the wrong notes.
Yeah, can be. Yeah. As long as you're rhythmically okay. Okay, let's do Walking on Sunshine, please. So how does that go, John? What key are we in?
C, I think.
C.
But we have it in D.
E. We have it in E in the thing. Awesome. Thanks.
Anybody need the music? What did you need, sorry? Oh yeah, gotcha. Here it is.
Okay. Today we've really worked. It's funny because we haven't got off the one, but all the feel for me is in like a lot of the lessons about feel only require the one.
That's true.
So we get more melodic with the bass from next week, I think. Yeah. Like we were intending on doing the first third, the 1 and the 5, but we'll go to that next week.
And now that we've done it this way, I think it is a really good message that actually works in our favour, because you can do so much without moving away from the root note.
Yes.
So really, we intended that the whole time.
Yes. Brilliant pedagogy, John. Brilliant pedagogy. Okay, we right?
So are we listening to what John's doing on this one?
Yes. I want me
If
shut
I can
up.
remember.
Someone saying.
Yeah.
You play it first, so.
Any questions before you play?
We did that slower.
So I'm starting.
Low E.
I was doing a low E, but you could happily go. I'm going down here.
Any reason in particular?
I think for that bit of the song it makes the most sense. My thinking with going down low first is that there's no words in the intro, so you can be as loud and crazy as you want. Then when we go to the verse, which has the same chords, you go up higher, then it gives the illusion of being softer and clearer.
And I think also what you're saying there is that when you can, you own the song.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
You know, you're making decisions that affect everybody, and you're making them in a just please out there. You're making them with an aesthetic understanding of the music, with listening going. I think Gail hasn't put her hand down, and she suggested Dale Tripp. No, you do have your hand up. Go.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask her?
Mark and John, what genre is Walking on Sunshine, please?
I would say that it's rock.
Yes.
A rock
Rock.
song.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it 80s? It's 80s.
Yes.
It's very much 80s.
Pop.
Pop rock.
Yeah, possibly even Pat. Schlock.
Oh dear.
And John, you had a leading note in there too.
Yes, I did have a leading note. So one thing that's really useful as a bass player and as a musician is to know the power of a perfect cadence.
Oh,
geez, yeah,
I go up to the B, which is the fifth from the tonic, and that leads down to the tonic note really nicely. 5 to 1.
which almost leads into next week.
Wow, imagine if only we were doing it. I take it back, it was whenever.
That's great.
So if you're using that opening string, you've got to be half muted your finger.
If you want, you can mute with this hand. You You can still mute quite a lot with these fingers though as well.
But I would say it is a.
Do that again, John. That was really good demo.
So partly you can mute with this, but I mostly do it with these fingers. So I use the next finger that's going to play to mute the string in between.
Yes. And it is a failing that I see often with bass players is that you're not muting the other strings.
Yes.
So
I was talking about that actually in the
out there.
We had I think we had a couple of people who were going across to the open strings in the song.
Accidentally.
Not accidentally, but when they went there, they weren't muting.
Oh, okay.
And so we talked about that a bit.
Yeah.
Actually, the other thing, and this is a valuable lesson I've learned, no matter how acoustic the U-bass is, it's still quite loud when you play it. And so in Yuka or in a class like this, for example, it's very obvious when you're noodling. And I know how hard it is, okay, I promise. I know how hard it is to not stop playing, but you should. It's nice to be in this position. I like the power of being able to tell people this stuff.
I'm going out of tune, so we better get this out of the road, and then we'll listen to some songs and then go home.
No, actually, we're going to do some breakup.
No, we weren't.
I don't think we have time.
I don't think
Okay,
we
right.
will.
No.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I used to think they love me, how they
Tell me for you.
I just can't wait till the day when you love. Every time I go home, the mailbox, gotta hold myself down. 'Cause I just can't wait till you I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh,
Is that wrong?
don't it feel good?
I think it's wrong.
Oh,
I think that should be me.
A beat. Walking on sunshine. Whoa, walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa,
it don't feel good.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
yeah,
Yeah, that's wrong.
that's wrong.
Anyway,
The chorus is wrong.
It also because you can take it very closely. So
Some of it is right. Jim isn't always right.
Are there questions on what John's doing there? And can we do that again and slow it down? Is that a little faster, folks?
I want to
Yeah.
see what it is.
Yeah,
There's so many different ways to play that.
yeah.
well, that's just it. And I'm demonstrating a couple of different ways because you could just as easily go, and it's like, it really doesn't matter. You can go here. You know, there are so many different ways to play. Usually, you would stick to the octave you're on, though. Like, you save the octave change, going up to there for a special occasion.
We're changing that song.
That's right. But I'm finding, for me at least, I'm liking this song using the open strings. So usually I would avoid that, but this one I quite like it. And I think because it is a little bit
Is somebody up there?
louder.
Or is it my phone?
I like that extra beat.
Yes. I like it too. Yeah, any other questions about that or anything?
Are you using the other leads after the beat?
Just energy. In terms of notes, that's all I'm doing. There are little rhythmic things that I do, but they're kind of hard to explain in a sense. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of those notes just yet, basically. I'll do that another time.
Shall we do it slower, John? So folks, would that be okay?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I used to think, baby, you love me. I just can't wait till you day when you're not every time I go to the mailbox, gotta hold myself back. 'Cause I just can't wait till you come. Walking on sunshine, oh, walking on ocean, oh, walking on sunshine, oh, and don't it feel good? Don't it feel good?
Let's stop here. That sounds nice, or looks nice. In the chorus, the other little leading tone you can do, since you're going between B and A, I'm going da 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 B flat. Not in the key of E, but it works really nice. Little chromatic leading tone. No, that E's wrong. It's going B, 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 and A. Yeah. So yeah, any other questions about anything?
I think that we should wrap it up there. But what I wanted to do was just play a few. So our bassist of the week is.
Can you get this to John?
Yes, sorry, yes, you're right. Our bassist of the week is Paul McCartney, which is really like a songwriter bass thing. And I picked out a few songs, and hopefully this will play.
It's coming from the speaker out there. Yeah. The one we left out.
The Beatles are playing the places.
No. What is it? Sorry.
It's out there. We've got to bring the speaker in. It's playing on the wrong speaker. So can you hear this bass line? Can you guys hear it online? I'm going to go back. That's a bit more complex than I thought it was.
Yes, but Paul does that too.
Right.
It's sort of like a 1/5 with all these nice little, leading tones up and down. But he has a bunch of little fills that he does too, and just little extra notes that he throws in to make it so interesting.
We're just talking about Paul McCartney for people online that might have missed that.
Okay, here's Lady Madonna. It's a lot of the piano actually, the bass line. Now you can. So what is it, John?
So he's going bum, bum, bum. He starts off by going up the A chord, and then instead of doing the full triad, he goes to D, and then he goes 5, 6, 8.
So the way John is talking, do people not know? Who doesn't know that language? What did you say?
So I said the 1, then the 3, then 4, 5, 6, 8.
So he's just talking about notes in the scale, in the major scale.
If you're not familiar with that, you should get familiar, because that's really good bass player talk, basically.
That's how I learned theory.
Mm.
When I played trumpet first, and I just knew I had to learn scales because otherwise I would be beaten. And it still didn't make sense. But then, for me, it was a joke about being beaten. It was a Police Boys Club though. On trumpet. But then when I started playing bass, I really started to understand music theory because it's the root from which all music theory is built. So that's one of my favourite bass lines.
Very
Was that all the same though?
Do you want to do it again, John?
You changed from
It's not quite wrong, right?
Wait, let's go again.
Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That's great.
Was that going up your
At the end, it's up the octave. But yeah, it's basically going up the scale with a couple of skip notes.
Here's another one, another Beatles one. This is only John and Paul recording this one. Such a classic line. The chord is just the one at the moment. Just it's only a 1/4/5, is it? Can you hear that? Is it the chords are only 1/4/5?
Yep. And he has that awesome little 6/5 thing happening.
Oh, is that what it is?
I love it.
Yes.
Dirty.
If you can learn that, that's a lovely, lovely bass line.
Actually, can we talk about homework yet?
I just let me do one more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's two more songs. Let's do this one. So again, this is a Paul McCartney song.
You can tell this song was written by a bassist.
Yes, written by a bassist. So the song is also unusual because, well, it's not unusual, it's reasonably common where the bass and the guitar just play the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody just goes, let's all play the riff.
Happens in rock all the time.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big rock feature. If you're looking for features of the rock genre, you often have the guitar and bass in unison. So it makes your job a lot easier, unless the guitar does something fancy.
And that is one that's notated, but only in treble clef. And here's the last one. Are these all Paul McCartney songs? Ballad of John Yoko would be. I don't know.
Would he write a song about himself?
Okay, so it's a relatively simple chord progression again, but what's the chord? What's the scale? What are the?
It's still 1-3-5. The only difference is that he slides into the 3. It's so cool. Because
John's having a binge on Beatles records at the moment.
I am right now. I haven't gotten up to something yet. I haven't learned it. Yeah, I think.
Something. The song.
It is true.
I think. Let's ignore back.
Yeah, let's
Come together. Would that be Paul? I mean, it's John's song, but
Surely Paul did the bass.
yeah.
But it's so different to everything else they did too.
I think you've got me. Reggae on that, haven't you?
No, because the guitar's going ting, 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 ting. It's more of a funk song. But anyway, it's pretty cool. I like that one.
All right. So the homework. Your homework for this week is get yourselves a metronome. Usually that is something that you could get off this, or you could,
Let me show you the app that I use. Oh shit. This one, Metro Timer.
put it into there as well.
Looks like that.
Metro Timer.
It's free. You just press that and it plays.
But you've also,
You can scroll to different speeds.
when somebody over here asked what the tempo was, you just tapped,
I
didn't you?
did. So there's a tap button.
That's 111, 114.
Okay, you tap, I've got that out.
Yeah, and you can tap your
So
own.
you can add in your own tempo.
So
You
what,
can, yeah.
what song are they going to do? What?
Well, what I'd like to suggest, because we have different skill levels here, and is that you choose a song that you need to work on, that you struggle with a little, and you slow it right down with the metronome, slow it right down, and you play it perfectly, slowly, for quite some time. You record that, and then a few days later, you speed it up, maybe only by 10 beats per minute, and record a little bit of that, you know. So we just want you to see you. We don't want you don't have to get to the final speed, but we want to see that you use the metronome, slow it down, play it perfectly, slowly, and then maybe if you want, show us it. If you've improved in a week, you might want to show another video of you doing it faster. John.
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree. When I have a deadline, when it comes to learning a bass line that's tricky, I slow it down to half speed and I play it perfectly at half speed. And then once I've got that, it's a bit fast for me because I've had some experience. But then I take it up by 5 BPM, get it perfect that way, all the way up to the top speed, and then I go past it so that when I go to play it at the speed I want, it's super easy. The other thing I wanted to say is you want to be careful if you're playing along to the songs on YouTube because obviously the keys aren't always going to match up with the music you've got. These songs are written out for ukulele. Bass, it's so much easier to change key.
The patterns are still the same.
That's exactly it. The patterns are exactly the same. You just shift it up and down, unless it's a really tricky bass line. The other thing is on YouTube, if you don't already know, you've got a feature that lets you slow it down to yeah, you wouldn't want to go quite half speed. You'd want to go 3/4 speed. This half speed it gets all glitchy. But if you look in the toolbar at the bottom of YouTube videos, explore the settings tab, and you can change the playback speed to 0.75, and it makes it much easier to play along. I do that all the time.
So recording is just the bass line, nothing else, just the bass line.
Well, if you can find a backing track that's good, that'd be fine. But if you just need to just do the bass line with the metronome, that's fine too.
So I know with some songs, if you put a metronome against it, then I don't put a metronome.
If you're playing with a song, then don't put the metronome on.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we need to
true,
practice.
true.
We might get more guidance on the Facebook page about the homework. I think we need to put that up.
And
If you have questions, feel free to ask us about that, especially on the Facebook page. Make a post.
Because other people will learn from that. The other bit of homework is to listen to the song by Wolfpack, which is what?
Dean Town.
Dean Town. Anyhow, look, please.
D-E-N-N-T-O.
Yes. That's right. It's great news. Thanks for coming. Please give us feedback, in private.
Email.
Be harsh, but say.
Especially you guys. We'd really like to know how the experience was for you online. But
just straight on feedback, the ability to see John's technique, to watch, and to listen, and slow it down. That's what I need to see how someone knows how to do it.
did you see enough of that?
Yeah. If you get time to sit while it plays and have a look and go, oh yeah.
But
that's
the questions that I really thought were sometimes a little bit too much were the ones that said, oh no, I don't know if that's right. No, forget it.
It's hard because we have specific things we want to teach.
On
and
this
you
song,
guys,
what should I do on this song?
yeah.
We want to get the concepts across.
if it's too specific, it makes it a bit tricky.
Yeah, it slows it down.
One thing I want to mention is that if you're keen,
Yes, Steph.
I'm sure Mark and Jane won't mind me self-promoting a bit, but after this is done, I'm not going to take any bass lessons on, like private bass lessons on, until after this is done, this course. But if you want private bass lessons after that, then come and talk to me and we can arrange that if you want. But hopefully you won't need them after this course.
And as part of this course, we will be getting you to play with some euchastras, with a euchastra, if you're up for it.
So Craig, you might have to let go occasionally.
Yeah,
a bit
we'll
of
have to
Sunday.
share Sunday, Craig. Yeah. So you'll get to play, some of the euchastras.
And Beck. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yes. All right.
Oh, and a bit on Monday.
And this is recorded and we'll put it online. So
you'll be able to play it back.
home time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. That was great.
Thank you very much.
It was really
Thanks,
good.
Steph.
Thank you.
All callers are there.
Catch you soon.
And Gail is gone already.
Thanks, guys. Nice to meet you, Mike. Really nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see you next week. And Mike, just choose a song that's don't worry about anybody else. You're just improving yourself, right? That's where I'm at. I'm just improving my bass playing there. So just choose a song you'd like to play. Play it
Not
nice
going
and
to be very
slowly.
good.
They might not be able to hear you.
All right. I'm going to end it.
Great. Thanks, Mike. See ya.
You're in.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
What are you ready to read, Joe?